Now, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi arrived in Nepal's Janakpur, kicking off a two-day state visit at the invitation of Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. Prime Minister Modi visited the Janaki Temple, accompanied by Nepal's PM Oli, where they offered special prayers. In a joint address, both the Prime Ministers announced the much-anticipated bus service from Janakpur to Ayodhya, the birthplace of Ram, which has considerable political significance for the BJP. With this bus inauguration, Nepal will be connected with Lord Rama's birthplace, Ayodhya, in India, thereby completing the Ramayana circuit. Janakpur is a key pilgrimage spot in Nepal. It holds high religious significance because it is regarded as the birthplace of Hindu goddess Sita. This is part of Modi's efforts to strengthen India-Nepal cultural ties. Earlier, PM Modi landed at the Janakpur airport, after which he received a red carpet welcome. He was welcomed by eminent Nepalese leaders, including Defence Minister Ishwar Pokhrel. Later in the day, PM Modi will depart for Kathmandu, where he will hold bilateral talks with his Nepalese counterpart. And to bring us more details, I'm joined in by Siddhant Sibal, our correspondent who's reporting live from Kathmandu. Let's quickly go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, we just heard PM Modi and Nepal PM Oli's address in Janakpur, which is historically emblematic of a religious connect which India and Nepal share. Clearly, religious diplomacy has a key role to play in facilitating ties between India and Nepal.
Well, the Indian Prime Minister is leveraging diplomacy, faith together, and religious diplomacy or faith diplomacy. The focus is on how New Delhi and Kathmandu can connect with each other, especially through faith, and that is why what happened just 1 hour ago was of significance, because people of India as well as people of Nepal will be keenly watching what both the leaders were saying and doing. Those visuals, of course, spoke 1,000 words. The Prime Minister praying and, of course, the Prime Minister of Nepal saying a lot of things, and together jointly flagging off that bus service that will link Janakpur. That's a historical city which is considered as the birthplace of Devi Sita with the birthplace of Lord Ram in Ayodhya in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. These two cities are now connected and form part of the Ramayana circuit that will help boost tourism. The Prime Minister of India focused on the tourism part of it, saying that this will help in increase engagement, because a lot of pilgrims from India come to Nepal to visit these historical sites, and of course for the pilgrimage also. A lot of people from Nepal also visit India. The Prime Minister will be shortly speaking at a ground in Janakpur, where he will be speaking what he wants to speak with the people of Nepal. Remember, Janakpur is in southern Nepal in the Madhes region. That sends out a message, a strong message, because a lot of Indian origin people live there. And after that, Prime Minister comes to here in Kathmandu, where again we will see faith diplomacy, because he will be visiting Pashupatinath. His second time he is coming to Pashupatinath. First time, of course, in 2014 when he visited Nepal, he went to Pashupatinath, and again visiting Pashupatinath, because Pashupatinath is an important part of the Char Dham, one of the dhams and an important pilgrimage site for a lot of Indians and, of course, a lot of people from Nepal. And finally, he will go to Muktinath, a short, brief visit, perhaps for only 2 hours. He'll go on a Saturday morning, and where he will be doing the darshan and coming back to Kathmandu. So clearly, faith diplomacy playing itself on the screens for people of Nepal and people of India, and how faith diplomacy can help in connecting people of Nepal and people of India. Tourism will, of course, benefit for Nepal. Nepal gets a lot of foreign money, and its economy's mainstay is tourism. With a lot of tourists coming, people of Nepal and the economy of Nepal will be benefited. That was mentioned by the Prime Minister of Nepal, and both the leaders jointly flagged off that bus service connecting the two historical cities cities. There is also a plan of a Buddhist circuit that will be formed between India and Nepal. That will not be announced in this visit, but that will be also extended, likely to be extended to Sri Lanka also. This circuit was being discussed, planned, and finally today it's announced by both the Prime Ministers jointly at that historical temple in southern Nepal, in Janakpur, at the Janaki Devi Temple, that huge really beautiful building from where both the Prime Ministers announced that bus service, flagging off that bus service, and signing also at the books talking about their visit to this temple. The Prime Minister of India also talked about how he is the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Janakpur, and there are many firsts for the Indian Prime Minister. Many countries which many Indian Prime Ministers have given a miss for many years, for 30 years, for 40 years. Prime Minister of India, the current present Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has been the first person to visit there after many decades, and now Janakpur has joined that long list of cities where the Indian Prime Minister have been to, and launching that bus service connecting the two countries and cities.
Right. Siddhant, we know that, the bus service will be connecting Janakpur to Ayodhya, which is the birthplace of Ram and has considerable political significance for the BJP as well. Speaking about the Ramayana circuit, we know that, it will be connecting 15 areas. Let's discuss the Ramayana circuit, which is, of course, a very integral aspect of the India-Nepal talks at the moment.
Well, there is a political message and there is the diplomatic message. The political message, of course, it helps BJP's home base in India, because this circuit has been launched. This will connect a lot of people. We were there at Pashupatinath and people were really excited that the Indian Prime Minister is going to visit Pashupatinath, and that's the feeling in Janakpur and Muktinath as well, because a lot of Indians are there. A lot of Indians as pilgrims go there. We met a lot of people from Odisha, from Madhya Pradesh, from Maharashtra, who were really praising about this new circuit. And the diplomatic part is how India and Nepal are coming closer through this faith diplomacy. The Indian Prime Minister has been thinking out of the box, and this is another way of thinking out of the box, connecting through commonalities. In this case, it's the religious part, it's the religion part of the entire relationship, and that is why faith diplomacy is being played right now on your screens at the first stop of the Prime Minister of India. Janakpur is the first stop of the Indian Prime Minister's three-city visit. And of course, he'll be staying for 2 days. His third visit to the country, coming just after a month when the Prime Minister of Nepal visited India, his first visit after taking charge as the Prime Minister of Nepal. At that time also the focus was on connectivity. This time, of course, the focus is on connectivity. We have already talked about the railway line which will link Kathmandu to the Indian Railways and the waterways that will be connected through Kosi River. But the main focus is on culture, connectivity, and this important circuit, a circuit that will help in cooperation between India and Nepal. So a lot of Cs that will help bring together these two countries, these two South Asian countries, and India has its own policy. The neighborhood first policy that's also being played out. Remember, Nepal is the only South Asian country the Prime Minister of India has visited 3 times. That is unprecedented, and that shows the growing closeness between India and Nepal, despite there have been some misunderstandings in past few years. So this visit is also about clearing these misunderstandings. We had a talk with the Foreign Minister of Nepal, who told us past is past, it's time we go forward, it's time we think about a new future, forge a new future, and this visit is all about that, forging a new future, Siddhant, especially through faith,
I'm going
through
to
religion,
request you to
and
pause
faith
over there, because we have live visuals coming in from Janakpur's 12 Bighas Rangbhumi ground, where the Prime Minister is addressing a public gathering. In a short while, we will see Prime Minister Narendra Modi address this public gathering in Janakpur's 12 Bighas Rangbhumi ground. This is followed shortly after PM's visit to the Janaki Temple in Janakpur, where he was welcomed by Nepal's Prime Minister PM Oli. And in a very short while, we will hear Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address to the public gathering. This is the first leg of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Nepal, which has been marked by faith diplomacy, which is, of course, playing an important role in renewing ties between India and Nepal.
संघीय समाजवादी फोरम के नेपाल के अध्यक्ष माननीय श्री उपेंद्र यादव जी को मंच पर आसन ग्रहण करने के लिए हार्दिक अनुरोध करता हूं। उसी तरह से आप इस क्षेत्र के इस प्रतिनिधि सभा
connectivity between Janakpur and Ayodhya in India.
श्री राजेंद्र महतो जी को मंच पर आसन ग्रहण करने के लिए हार्दिक
The provincial government in the town is now hosting PM Modi at the Barabigha Rangbhumi ground. The security has been beefed up and the Prime Minister has been welcomed. A holiday has also been declared in the province due to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. Close to 11,000 security personnel from both the countries have been deployed during this integral visit. And as a part, let's quickly go back to Siddhant, who's joining us live from Kathmandu. He is tracking Prime Minister Modi's visit to Nepal very closely. Siddhant, we can see that Prime Minister Modi's first leg of the Nepal tour has been kicked off with some faith diplomacy, which is of course playing a very integral role. And it's not just in Janakpur, but also the Muktinath Temple, which he will be visiting, also followed by Pashupatinath Temple visit.